It's a showstopper. Hi guys, this is Dale Vandersand, musical theater coach, here to talk about Hamilton and the song One Last Time. I'm doing a series of Hamilton reviews because it's a hot show. It's a show that has a lot of information in it. Words go by very quickly, so there's a lot of discussion to be had. So join me here. If you're new to this channel, please click on subscribe and click on the bell for notifications, ding, for when a new video comes out. Also, please leave a comment below and let me know what you would like to hear. What song, character, or aspect of Hamilton might be interesting, or any other musical theater as well. I'll read everything and reply. So now we're going to take a look at One Last Time and the interaction between Washington and Hamilton. Now, Washington met Hamilton and brought him in as a general for the Revolutionary War. So they've been friends for a long time. Time passes very quickly. Sometimes you don't even know how long time has gone by. There's no real indication. The moments of a timeline just seem to be dropped in. There's not necessarily a real segue, or a lot of time may pass between one song and another. And here we find Washington at the end of his second term as the first president. And as first president, he had made a lot of precedents, deciding that 2 terms was enough. It was probably enough for him after being a general for so long as well, and a lot of service to this nation, this new nation. So he was probably looking forward to his retirement, although unfortunately he died only 2 years afterward at the age of 67. But he knows that he needs to establish one last thing, and that is how long a president could reign. He already had determined that the president would be one of the people, because that goes along with the establishment of the philosophy of this democracy. So as one of the people, he is Mr. President. He's not a king. We get the idea that he's a humble man. The other Revolutionary War musical that everybody knows and loves, 1776, Washington doesn't appear, but he's mentioned. And when he's mentioned with a reverence.
My quartermaster has no food, no arms, no ammunition, and my troops are in a state of near mutiny. I pray God some relief arrives before the Armada, but fear it will not. Your obedient, G. Washington.
Your obedient, G. Washington.
I stand with the general. Well, lately, I've had the oddest feeling that he's been writing to me.
So history treats him very kindly, and as well they should. He seems to have been a very wise man, a very feeling man, who personalized the job of the presidency, but also had the vision to see into the future. So let's see in this scene what they have to say.
Mr. President, you asked to see me. I know you're busy. What do you need, sir? Sir? I want to give you a word of warning. Sir, I don't know what you heard, but whatever it is, Jefferson started it. Thomas Jefferson resigned this morning.
Okay, just for a moment, I want to talk about the actors. Washington is played by Christopher Neil Jackson, and I find his performance to be very nuanced, beautifully done. He was in the original Broadway cast of The Lion King, actually. What I like about his performance is that he really speaks the lines as if they were his. They're not just lines on a page, he's made them alive. Contrasting with that, we have Lin-Manuel Miranda, who is very good, but it almost seems like he's singing his lines all the time. It's almost like he's rapping his lines all the time. Perhaps he comes much more from a musical tradition first, so that could be his story. But I find a real contrast between the two here. Nonetheless, the story gets told.
You're kidding. I need a favor. Whatever you say, sir. Jefferson will pay for his behavior. Talk less. I'll use the press. I'll write under a pseudonym. You'll see what I can do to him. I need you to draft an address.
I love this moment when Washington says, talk less. Obviously, there's an established relationship between them, and Hamilton is always up, always rapping at top speed. Washington is a lot more methodical, a lot more thoughtful. He doesn't just run off at the mouth as Hamilton does. Yet he knows that Hamilton is a man of words. He has good command of language. And so here Washington is asking Hamilton to write his farewell address.
As he resigned, you can finally speak your mind. No, he's stepping down so he can run for president. Good luck defeating you, sir. I'm stepping down, I'm not running for president. I'm sorry, what? One last time. Relax, have a drink with me. One last time.
One last time. Relax, have a drink with me. I like Washington's casual attitude about not running for president again. Obviously, he's made his decision, and he's springing it on Hamilton, who doesn't know it for a moment. He's reading his letter. He's being asked then to write Washington's farewell speech, which we don't know if he did or not. Historians have pretty much agreed that he did, but it's not known for sure.
Let's take a break tonight and then we'll teach him how to say goodbye, you and I.
These lyrics will teach them how to say goodbye, teach the American people how to say goodbye. He's getting the American people used to a particular pattern of a president for only a short time. Now, it's not established that it's going to be 8 years only until the 20th century. But because Washington did this, other presidents also followed suit until at least, I think, FDR.
Sir, I want to talk about neutrality. Sir, with Britain and France on the verge of war, is this the best time? I want to warn against partisan fighting. Pick up a pen, start writing.
So now Washington is giving Hamilton elements that he wants in his farewell speech. The other thing that Washington mentions here is that he wants to talk against partisan fighting. Now, some history books will say that Washington was a Federalist. He didn't embrace any particular party. He was kind of leaning toward the Federalist Party. But parties were a new thing. There were no parties when he was elected the first time. When the second election came around, parties started to faction. And when it came time for this next election in 1796, then there were parties who were gathering votes very similarly to how we do today. So it didn't start off that way, but partisanship started to become a little nasty. And of course, this musical was written in 2015, and we're living at a time when this country is also very, very divided between the two major parties. So again, it speaks to a modern audience as well. We can relate today to what was happening 223 years. It outlives me when I'm gone. So again, we have Washington here positioned as the visionary.
Like the scripture says, everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. They'll be safe in the nation we've made. I want to sit under my own vine and fig tree, a moment alone in the shade.
You can just imagine how many years he's given service to the nation. It had to have been a lot of work to have the vision and lead an entire nation through a war when you were the underdogs. That's heavy stuff. So we feel in this moment that he just needs to be a person, just needs to be human. And if we know his history, we know that he didn't live much longer, so there's a tragedy in that.
At home, in this nation we've made, one last time, one last time. Though in reviewing the incidents of my administration, I am unconscious of intentional error, I am nevertheless too sensible of my defects not to think it probable that I may have committed many errors.
It's interesting because they're supposed to be Washington's words, but they're Hamilton's words. So we're having Hamilton own them. Since history wasn't clear as to whether Hamilton wrote them or not, here it's being decided in the writing that Hamilton was indeed the writer. Again, with the words that Washington had made many errors. He wasn't terribly conscious of that, he wasn't sensible, and he apologizes for it. It also shows, again, just how humble we look back and see Washington as having been.
I shall also carry with me the hope that my country will view them with indulgence, and that after 45 years of my life dedicated to its service with an upright zeal, the faults of incompetent abilities will be consigned to oblivion, as I myself must soon be to the mansions of rest. I anticipate with pleasing expectation that retreat in which I promise myself to realize the sweet enjoyment of partaking in the midst of my fellow citizens, the benign influence of good laws under a free government, the ever-favorite object of my heart, and the happy reward, as I trust, of our mutual cares, labors, and dangers. One last time. George Washington's going home. Teach him how to say goodbye.
Okay, finally the chorus walks on stage and starts singing, acting kind of in the role of a Greek chorus, commenting on the action that's happening. Washington's going home. And using the chorus, it also serves a musical purpose, which we'll see in a minute.
George Washington's going home.
Okay, this is the purpose. Washington starts to sing in kind of a gospel fashion. So with gospel, you have a soloist, you often have a choir backing you up. So he creates a very powerful moment, musical moment. Gospel's very raw, very down to earth, even though they're singing about the heavens. We just had a few biblical verses referred to in the song from Washington, and so now we get some gospel truth going on.
History has its eyes on you. Yeah, we're gonna teach them how to say goodbye. Teach them how to say goodbye, say goodbye. Say goodbye one last time.
Of course, the crowd goes wild. It's a showstopper with that last moment. We have this song that, as I mentioned in another video, Satisfied, that I've reviewed, this is not just a song, it's a whole scene. In opera, we call it a scena, the Italian word for scene. This is another one of those where we get a whole story, we get a whole history happening in the framework of a song. Another thing that happens with the chorus coming forward is that it's we the people learning to say goodbye, learning that the president is not going to be a forever presence. One man is not going to be president forever. So we see people come forward to learn this and say goodbye as he asks. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, please click like below, comment, and let me know what you thought. Let me know what else you would like me to cover and review. If you're new, please click subscribe, click on the bell, ding, for notifications. And until the next time, be safe, good health to you and your family, and keep music in your heart. This is Dale Vandersand, musical theater coach, signing off. Ciao for now.